Hey everybody, welcome to a stream. Uh, gonna take my time starting it up here. It is 4:12 in the morning, so if I'm a little bit quiet, that would be why. Let's just gonna throw on some music here. Hmm. All right, let me fix the audio. It's coming through. All right, that should have fixed it. It's probably a little loud. Okay, that's probably pretty acceptable. So normally I play my own music, and I probably will at some point. But you can get away with playing video game music totally because people stream video games all the time. So, and since I've been making video game music, I figured I would just, or at least part of it. This is from Shadowrun. From the SNES version, there was a couple different versions of this game. Well, quite a few actually. It is a tabletop RPG game that got ported to SNES and Sega back in the 90s, and then it became like an RTS style strategy, turn-based strategy game. And there goes the focus. So, anyways, I've got my Discord up over here. And you can see here, there's a channel that tells you going live. Yeah, so if you haven't used Discord and you're interested in what I'm working on, definitely jump on, I would say. I started using it a couple years ago, but I'm also like a game developer, and there's a lot of game devs on Discord. There's also just like regular gamers too. And just kind of random groups you would find, and you can search for these groups. You can actually do it within Discord now. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can just search, you know, what games you play, or pixel art, or different things, right? And that's what all of these are here. Is they're all different servers. So some of these are like streamers, so I've got them in folders. These ones are for podcasts. These ones are just basic chat communities. These ones are all retro gaming. These ones are just gaming, or this one is just gaming in general. I guess I've been cleaning them out and deleting the ones that I don't use. This one's 3D modeling. These are folders, and then we got music, actual games. Want servers for game jams. That's actually how I found Discord, was through Ludum Dare. Yeah, so I was making Light Switch Crusader, which is available on itch. If you just type in Light Switch Crusader, you could probably just Google it. But yeah, Light Switch Crusader is a like I said, Ludum Dare game I made with a couple friends that I met actually just randomly for the game jam. I was using a site called CrowdForge, and I believe it still exists, and it's mostly made for game jams. There seems to be Oh, my controller was edged up against something. That's funny. I didn't realize that it even worked with the controller. Of course, the buttons don't. Just the joypad. It's just one of those things where the Unity input automatically maps to a controller. If you're using vertical and horizontal, then it works for a joystick or a keypad. So yeah, I think I've got this site muted. Yeah. So this game, if you haven't played it, it's a stealth comedy game, and basically you can only just walk around. You can sneak, and then you can turn off lights. Yeah. So I don't know if how well you can hear the audio. Um, but I'm gonna turn it up a bit just so you.
It's locked.
Yeah, so I made all the voiceovers and the sound effects. Like I'm the cricket. I'm the dude.
You're wasting electricity.
I made level design, all of the art, the characters, the idea.
What kind of
game design?
It's locked.
The only thing I didn't do is the song. Well, I did one. Oh, it's locked. The only thing I didn't do is like a few of the game design ideas what the programmer helped with, and then he also did all the programming. And yeah, like I said, the song.
On the power bill.
I did the menu music. So it might be helpful to crouch here, but you're slower when you're crouching. That cat will come and get you.
Now, who would leave their lights on this late at night?
Definitely could use some polish, you know. Like
their lights on this
you can't really play it without the sound. Was one thing I realized late in the game. Someone played it without sound, and they couldn't figure out that the door was locked. So I actually started working on like a patch for that. I just never actually implemented. This was like last year. I made the icon. Never put it in. But the music is actually quite enchanting. It's funny the guy spent 72 hours, so like the whole game jam making this song. I mean, a lot of it he said he couldn't come up with the idea like for the first day or so. And he said he went to like the beach second day, I think, like. But at that point, 2 people had already dropped out of the team because we had all met online, just random strangers, and the 2 of us that were working hard, me and the programmer, we were just like, whatever, at least we've got you, and like we knew that I could do music just in case, like I had actually made the menu music really quickly at the very end, like when the programmer was still working on things, and like there was like a little bit of polish time, I guess is what you call it in a game jam. That doesn't really happen, so I was just like struggling to find something to do, I think, so I just made like a really quick menu music, and then when we put it in at the last second, we didn't have a chance to test it, so it didn't get looped in the actual game jam version. It just plays it once, and it's like a 30-second loop or something like that, and it just plays it once. Okay, enough Light Switch Crusader. Anyways, oh, and this is my Trello. This is actually public, so you can check it out and see what I'm working on in Retro Spaceball. I've got a whole bunch of other boards too. I'll probably go over some of that. But first, yeah, so Discord, you want to join my tester group. 4 of them are online right now. They're from all over the world, so it's different time zones. Like Techie Crow's from France. Jamie is in Australia. So yeah, and then people from Twitter, people from the Indie World Order, people from local game dev. This is a IGDA group. There's independent, or there's the Independent Game Developers Association has different chapters for different cities, and most of them have Discord servers. Ours is kind of slow compared to other ones. The bigger the city, the better the Discord server. And then there's like IGDA server as well that I'm part of, which is cool. They have like seminars and stuff that they post. Game Dev League, Reddit R Game Dev, Game Dev Network. These are all really good ones. There is like a Unity official one that's really good. Indie Game Business is actually a podcast one. I'm surprised that's in that. So there's the IGDA one. Yeah, and these ones I labeled lame because they're just not as active and not as good. The pixel art one is really good for pixel art. Some of these are just kind of generic. This I found is actually like a school or something. I didn't realize it. Indie Game Utopia, they promoted Retro Spaceball, and Game Dev Underground is like a podcast type video series type thing. But what's great about most of these servers is that you can just kind of promote your game, and that's mostly what I use it for. Because I'm not a Nitro user for Discord, like I use the free version. I'm limited to 100 servers or whatever. Technically, you're not supposed to like spam, and I'm not really spamming. I'm trying to provide a service for free, basically, which is, some people see it as spam because everyone's got a game these days, unfortunately. But that's really not the case. It's not spam. I'm gonna throw this music back on. So yeah, I updated Retro Spaceball today, so that's cool. It's super early in the morning. It's like 5 right now. But Retro Spaceball is updated. Sorry, that took a second to count. Yeah. The music manager, I finally actually made one. I realized that I didn't really have one. It just kind of had like some music script stuff like thrown in there, and then like the manager was like a skeleton that just held on to the ones I had made so far, and there was nothing that actually managed the tracks. So I went and made that, and it's pretty simple. I actually posted a snippet of it on the Twitter. I don't know. Sometimes when you open 2 different projects, Visual Studio gets weird. Like, because it links with Unity, and Unity like links to projects, and I haven't quite figured that out. So, like I said, the script is really simple, and there's some stuff in it that's just like overkill, I guess, or like I don't know, like there's some code in here that's probably not like, I don't know. It's definitely not the most efficient code. So when I posted it on Twitter, I asked if anyone could improve on it, and I'm sure it could be improved on. And whatever. it works, which is nice. But yeah, so this button doesn't work. I just don't call that function. So see, the problem with this is that you don't want to subtract from this because it'll throw an error if the index for the list is negative. So like if you're not on, if you're like way into the track list, then it'd be fine to hit that button, I believe. But if you're at the beginning, then there needs to be some code to tell it to go to the end. But I don't know. For whatever reason, I haven't quite gotten that far yet. But what I did do is I made this go to next track, and I did have a button working, but I made some changes to get the boss track to work, and for some reason it caused the button to not work on the options menu, so I just took it out. But what it does is it works internally, and basically, so it takes the track length, so it runs this coroutine to wait for the track time, which finds the track length here, and then it waits for that wait for seconds real time. And I had used real time because when I was pausing the game, I was stopping time, or slowing down time, like really slow, so it seemed like it stopped. But you can still like do some basic functions that you couldn't do without time, which I know is a little confusing and it's a little roundabout, but it works for Retro Spaceball, which is kind of like a smaller project. Smaller project that's taken 2.5 years. But what are you gonna do? I've been working most of it, and anyway, so I made this other change BGM function, which is kind of a generic name, I guess. But I didn't know what I was doing when I first started writing it, and I didn't change the names afterwards. So basically, this one is to change it to be the Bug Boss music, which on the Bug Boss level. So the Bug Boss has its own specific music, and then when it's not at the Bug Boss level, it just goes through the tracks with a singleton audio manager that hangs out even when you delete the scene and load a new scene. It's still got this wait for seconds real time coroutine playing in the background, counting down how long that track is and how long it's been playing, and then it'll go to the next track when it's done. It didn't take me too long to figure out. I just went on YouTube and found ways that other people were doing it, and basically, yeah, I found this track length thing, and then this here, I was using it in a different project that I can go into a little bit later, I guess. But for now, I've got Retro Spaceball loaded up here, so I might as well go into this a bit. So yeah, as you can see, I just released it today. I know it's 4:30. I actually released it yesterday with the May 8th date on it. But the only people who caught on to that was actually Techie Crow in France. So kudos to Techie, and yeah. You know, I'm actually going to take a quick second to just make sure that everything's working on all the channels here. I'm using Restream, and I just want to make sure that everything's working properly. And yeah, it looks like YouTube's up, Twitch. I don't know about Periscope. Let's see if I can refresh this. Oh, yep, it looks like that one's working too. Cool. Okay. And yeah, it looks like Facebook's got it up. Oh no, it looks like Twitter posted two different things. Sorry. Yeah, I'm definitely not working on coronal mass ejection today. That's what one of the Twitter posts said, but sorry, yeah, not the case. Okay, and it looks like Mixer is working as well. And so that's wonderful. Everything is working. Alright, so back to what I've got here. So this software is Unity, you're not familiar, it's a game engine software. It's free, and basically it's free because it sells your data basically from what you use from the game. I don't really know all the ins and outs of it. I know that like some people are really against it and stuff, but it's relatively safe. I would say I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, the problem with the alternatives is that they aren't as user friendly, and you have to know quite a bit more about not only programming in general and game development in general, but also the specifics of the engine that you're using, which would be like Godot or whatever. Like Godot, I guess, is a great alternative where it builds to a lot of different platforms. Not as many as Unity, unfortunately, but it's trying to keep up. The problem with that is that Unity is just like got rocket power, it's taking off. Same with Unreal, and Unreal is another good option. I honestly I don't know much about Unreal because I haven't played with it too much myself. The last time I tried to play with it, it was called UDK, and I can't even remember the version. I didn't get very far with it at all, so I don't really remember anything about it actually. So anyways, yeah, Unity is great for what I'm doing here. Let's see. We've got our audio manager. I might as well just show you the game here. All right. So this is the game window, right? All of these are kind of dockable, and you can move them around and change the layout and all that stuff in the UI in this. And this is just kind of the way that I like it. But when I started Retro Spaceball, it was actually a mobile game, so I actually made this so you can switch between the two. Between 16:9 and 9:16, and yeah, so here it's like you could hit the full screen button too, but this is, I think this fits well with what is going on with the overlay. Could even fix it a little bit for the anyways, I've got it working with my controller here, which is pretty cool. You know, a Switch controller. This is a PS3 controller. Xbox controllers, all of that stuff works. Just like plug and play these days, which is nice. So yeah, this is what I've been working on. I really like this AI mode. It's a lot of fun to play. It's not exactly too challenging yet, but there is ways to make it challenging, which is nice. But yeah, I have plans to make it far more challenging than it is. But if you really are like new to it, then it's still difficult. I've had people tell me that it was too difficult, and that the AI was OP. But the game's gone through a lot of changes since then, and just in general. For example, this particular update is different than all of the other updates that you've played before because the ball physics are different. And I can actually go into a little bit of detail about that here. So the pinball is basically two different scripts. Here, I'll show you in the game, and oops, and that will help explain it, I think. So I'm gonna open up a different scene. I'm gonna go to this one called New First Level. This is actually the new first level, right? there was an old first level, but this is the new first level. So if I go into the scene, the pinballs actually starts disactivated. That's what this little checkbox is. It's on or off, basically. It's a Boolean value. And you can very simply code that with the function set active, right? And it's either true or false. So if I bring it to true, it doesn't look right because it's got the everything that should be false, right? Everything gets coded in basically in like the few seconds that it's not showing. So it decides whether it needs that crosshair at the beginning. It decides whether it needs to be flashing or not, what color it needs to be, all that stuff before it shows up. And I think there's a little bit of a bug where it actually hits itself when it does that, like, and it just kind of makes sparks, so it actually looks kind of cool. So it's like, is it a bug or a feature, right? So anyways, back to the pinball here. So the pinball actually is filled with all these different objects. So these are the different sparks that come out of it, the different explosions. Um, yeah, that one is actually turned on, so it did something there. Yeah, so you can see that those are the different explosions. I think what it is they're different colors. Yeah, for the different hits. And then you've got your collide zone. I'm gonna tuck this away. So another benefit of having that at this 9x16 is that you can actually see what it would look like on a phone while you still can have all of this space over here. I know some of this space is being eaten up by the overlay or whatever. Um, but yeah, you can mostly read what's here. I think this value might get a little chopped off or whatever, but you're not missing anything special over there. So yeah, your hierarchy. This is everything that's in the scene, which is kind of cool. Like you can actually just arrow through it all, and if you hit F, I believe. Oh no. Anyways, if you double click, used to be able to just hit F. Oh no, I'm changing. All right, so back to the pinball. Pinball's got all these different orbs inside of it. And so in 3D, it actually looks kind of funky. And the great thing about this game is that it's actually built in 3D, like, despite being a 2D game. And I didn't actually use any of the built-in 2D features that Unity comes with these days. And my face cam is really blurry. Hopefully that fixes it. Yeah, it looks like it fixed it a little bit. I don't know why it looks so terrible. Anyways, totally distracted. If I select all of them at once, let's do that. It looks like almost like a toroid, right? But each of those are different hit zones, and it when a ball, or I mean when the bullet game objects hit it, it knows what direction it was being hit from, right? Because this is all locked in physics, right? So the rigid body is like where the physics is held, and I've frozen the rotation as well as the Z position, so it's only going to move on the X and Y axis, which is, you know, around the screen in 2 dimensions. Yeah, so that's what does that. And then so these all get a duplicate script and they have a integer, right? So the integer is what tells it what position the orb is in, but they all do the same thing depending on their position, right? So they all have, if I were to change them all to be the number of the top one, then all of them, no matter if you hit it at the bottom or you hit it at the right or you hit it at the left, it would all move the ball down, if that makes sense. So hitting it from the top moves the ball down, hitting it from the bottom moves the ball up, if it's all coded correctly. And it's all dependent on this little hit integer number, because that's actually going to stay the same on these little scripts, but it's going to get sent to this big pinball script, which has all of those game objects inside of it, and they're actually parented underneath it in the hierarchy here. So if I move this big guy, it actually moves everything, and so they're stuck with it. Um, and this one takes all of those ones as well as this other one called switch hitter, which is like the size of the pinball itself. The reason why I did that was to square the focus of the thing. You could hit this 2D button, but I don't know, it wasn't always there, so I don't ever think to use it. Yeah, let's try that. If I just hit 2D, oh, that was not. If I just hit 2D, yeah, so that works. But yeah, I like I said, I just kind of like to have it squared there. So this switch hitter does basic functions, um, and yeah, like it finds the bonus hit zone, and it does things in the versus mode with the gravity and stuff. Oh, here comes my air conditioner. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not sure actually if that's gonna. Oh, it doesn't look like it's too bad. You can probably only hear it when I'm talking. Um, all right, so all of that is linked to this pinball, which has the audio attached to it. It has explosions attached to it. It has links to the player attributes, game manager, which are big strips um, on both the player and the game manager game object, which is like a big game object. Both of those are. Player control is another player link. Yeah, so it basically is linked to the game and the player, which is huge. Um, yeah, I'm probably gonna play the game. And so the script here, what I changed was I think it was on the pinball script. Where did I? No, it wasn't. It was on the other one. So I even get them confused. So right here, I actually had been using this add force, but I didn't realize that you should be using this add delta time to it, and yeah, so that way, I mean, time dot delta time basically makes sure that it's doing the same thing, independent on frame rate. So even if the frame rate dips, it'll still be the same time, um, and the same kind of, in this case, force being added to the ball, which is kind of important, um, because if you're playing, especially on the WebGL version, not that it's working currently, um, but yeah, if you had a performance issues, this would improve the gameplay. It would prevent glitches during performance issues. So if you have something wrong with your computer, where it's going too slow, the game might still not crash, right? Be less likely to crash. Um, which yeah, people just expect that stuff, rightfully so. But it is still something that needed to get added that was not in there. Um, so yeah. So that's basically everything I added. Of course, changing that stuff actually meant that I had to make a whole bunch of major changes throughout the entire game, and I had to change every single level, as well as these. I had to make major changes to this stuff too. Oh, I've got my. Um, so it did take, you know, probably 16 hours or so of development time. I really want to play this with people online, and I've got it set up so you can do it, but no one has stepped forward and said yes, let's play a match. And I've tried to get some people together, and I'm just not seeing it. Um, yeah, but if you do want to play, you should definitely hit me up, and I can show you how to play, and it will be fun, or at least it'll be interesting to see how well it works, because I have not even played this with another person since the very first version of it, and this is uh, the fifth iteration of it, right? Oh no, sixth, right? Because it started at 1.0, and then this is 1. The first one was 1.01, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 6. Yeah. And it keeps track of your scores and stuff, which is nice. Got your controls here. Oh, I should make it a little bit smaller so everyone can see. I forgot. Alright, so I'm just gonna go through the game here real quick because I actually just played through real quick because I tested the build before I just uploaded it. But this, even though I'm playing it within the editor, this is exactly what you're playing when you download it. It's just this is being played in the editor, so I have more like supremacy over what happens. I have godlike powers within the game world. If I wanted to, I could just pause it and delete the game objects if I wanted to, or move them around. Ducky Crow, hey, thanks for watching, man. I didn't realize you were watching. Yeah, we should totally get down on some Parsec matches. I have not played with anyone yet, so that would be supreme. And since you're like my number one fan, apparently, Retro Spaceball's number one fan, why not, right? I mean, you're the guy. Um, you know. I mean, I got tons of projects to test too, but yeah, Parsec is definitely on the list. Definitely want to get some Parsec matches in. Come on. Oh, gold medal. The medals are still kind of funky. I still haven't come up with a better solution. I guess I just get kind of more and more like comfortable with the idea of the medals being funky, which is maybe a bad thing. But you know, what are you gonna do? Oh, you know what, man? I don't think you need to brush up on your skills so much as like I just need someone to play with and test it with, and like if you're not like amazing at the game, like I don't think that's going to be like a big issue at all. Um, because I mean, there's really cool. I'm gonna jump out of this menu real quick here. There's really cool game modes that I've been working on here. So if you go to the versus options, you can actually turn off the gravity, which is way cool, or you can inverse the gravity, which I think is like super beginner friendly, and it even makes the AI like really difficult. Um, so like what's cool about it is that the ball's always trying to go to the middle, right? So even though it's on my side now, like it's trying to fall back to the middle. So I mean, it doesn't go with the gravity of like the game where it has these like there's supposed to be stars at the top and bottom of the level, right? But instead they're pushing the ball the other way. And so I mean he just hit the brick, but it didn't break, which is kind of a glitch. The bricks should probably break when you hit them. Sometimes the ball doesn't move when you shoot it too. But yeah, this game mechanic definitely adds to the game. And then also the shield. Uh-oh, I just got like stuck in the wall somehow. That's terrible. So it's still kind of buggy and needs testing. That's wow. I bet I can get out with the keyboard. Okay. So if you get stuck in the wall with the game controller, use the keyboard. That's terrible. Um, and then this shield is actually far more like you need it, right? Because you can dodge bullets with it, right? And you move faster when you hold down the thing. So you can actually use it to hit the ball a little bit harder when you're like trying to just knock your ship into it. And it's super helpful to get the ball to go up, right? Because now that the score is changed, right? Because now um, it's hard to get a shot, and you end up having to worry about taking bullets. So you use your shield to prevent getting hit, or you get really good at shooting the ball in the same spot like 3 times in a row like that, and then um. But oh yeah, and then there's another cool oh, too far. The versus option. Well, first of all, no gravity is pretty cool too. Might as well test that while we're here, right? Oh, come on. Okay. So, no gravity means that the ball just keeps going, right? So if yeah, just keeps going in that direction. It slows down, but only if it like has that opportunity to slow down. But I like this game mode too because you get some weird ball activity that you're not expecting because you're used to the ball always falling. Well, the cool thing about no gravity is that the game can change at any moment or at any second, really. Like, um, when the ball's falling in a direction, it's kind of like, oh shit, I'm gonna die, and the other guy's like, I'm gonna win, and it's kind of obvious what's gonna happen. But in this scenario, it's like if he gets a good shot on the ball, he's probably not gonna because he's AI. Um, but if it was a person and it got a good shot, it could just go straight to the other side, right? And if I continuously miss, I might not get it anywhere, you know. Of course, that's not the case because I'm not an AI. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. Um, what else is there? We've got the no ball mode, so that kind of negates the gravity. Um, and then you have to use the mouse right now. I haven't fixed the game controller to select it, but you can actually change the AI here. It looks like I'd actually already changed it and saved it. Um, but I found that if you increase these all, and this doesn't do anything yet, if you increase these all, it makes the AI quite a bit harder. Is what I realized. So if you do that and put it in no ball mode, it it actually becomes really difficult. Like even for me. Um, First of all, like the bad guy doesn't want to move, which is something that I'll probably fix. Um, so it just becomes like a shootout for a second, right? But that's kind of boring. So what I do is I just move to the side a little bit, and it causes him to dodge the bullet. And now I'm already taking shots because I was holding down the dash button. It's not something that you should do. Um, and I'm already down to 8. He's down to 8 too. Oh, he's down to 7. So now, as you can see, there's no ball, and now we're just we're just dodging shots and shooting at each other and trying not to get shot. And it's kind of fun because when the bullets collide, they negate each other, and when you shoot each other, it feels that much better. But of course, you can dodge like and move very quickly through the bullets and feel like you're a badass. But then it's really easy to screw up. Also, like it's already 4 to 5. But yeah, like I said, this is very difficult for a beginner to play. Like if you gave this to a beginner, they would think that it was impossible. Like you can't get it. Because for a while when I was testing, I'm like, you can't hurt him. you just won't get hurt. Like you can try to hurt him, but you're just gonna get hurt in the process. But you can't actually hurt him. You just have to be really quick about it, and you have to kind of take some risks that he won't see coming, and send him off of his algorithms, because he has a pattern, or it has patterns that it tries to follow. Oh, and it's winning. Oh, and it's a little bit of random, but it's also like a little bit of foresight and glancing around the screen, knowing how to manage your boost, right? Managing your boost is huge. Ah, fuck. I'm at 0, he's at 1. We're both at 0. This is a close game here. Oh, and he won. He won. Oh man. Oh yeah. I'm totally down to play tomorrow. I mean, if you're talking about playing multiplayer, I'm down to play tomorrow. I don't know what time I'll be off work, and I'll probably be super tired off of work. But I'm really not sure, honestly. I have no idea how any of that's gonna work. It's 5 a.m. here. I work at 8. Usually I work until 4:30. But they said something about a partial day. They didn't go into details about how long it'll be. I have a feeling that probably won't kick in the laser, like start it up. Maybe just to clean it, but I think it's pretty clean. I don't know. I can't. Not really sure what we're gonna have to do today at work. It made it sound like we're gonna like clean mostly. So I might be down after work, or of course you can play while I'm at work, for sure, absolutely. It's up right now. Due to lockdown, you're free whenever, and I know where to find you. Yeah, cool, man. Well, I will definitely if I'm not too tired after work, I'll see what you're up to. Um, I'll shoot you a ping on Discord or a PM, and that would be fun. Totally, I think that'll be lots of fun. All right, so I mean, I can show more retro Spaceball, but yeah, if I let's see, if I cheat, go into the menus. The menus are interesting here. Everything, every menu is on a different canvas, which I realize is the best way to do things. It seemed like it was not the best way at first, but it actually is. If I go into options menu, I can turn on the next track button, and I can show you how that other script change works without actually waiting for the 4 minutes or whatever, 290 seconds for the music. I can just change it. So this is the new audio track. So I'm gonna turn it up for me here real quick. And I don't know, it's honestly, this is the second iteration of it. Usually it takes me at least, like the boss music took it 4 iterations. Usually it takes longer than anything. Oh, you can't hear anything. about now? I'm gonna pause it if I... It looks like it's working. Okay. Yeah, so this is the new game audio. Like I was saying, it took me only 2 iterations, which is like 2 full days of work, to be honest. Like at least like 16 hours of just staring at a screen. Basically, I found that riff, and it reminded me of like, I don't know, Zelda or something like that, or Super Mario World, like Super NES, but like a boss battle early in the system's like life cycle. So I just kind of like lean into that, I guess, and like the tempo's pretty fast. It's like 240. I just kind of had like a bunch of chiptune sample drums that I turn into like kits and stuff. And you know, I'll do like a bit reduction to the samples that I have, or I'll make like kicks and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean like any game music, if you listen to it over and over again, it starts to get annoying. But like I try really hard to make it like, because it's game music, I try to keep it with enough variation that when you're listening to it, you're like, oh, okay, this is simple, I can skip to the game, but there's still like enough variation where you hear it over and over again. Like, I never listened to that particular melody or that particular note, and now it's standing out to me. That's kind of the way I make game music. But I tend to make like arcadey style games, so if I was making something that was more immersive, it would be different. It's a little long, and it doesn't loop like seamlessly. Like I might go in and take like an intro like bits and then loop bits and have it like go in from intro to the loop, like they used to make professional games back in the day. They still do, I'm sure. Kind of like if you were making like gunfire and you had a machine gun, that first shot is going to sound different than the looping shots of the gunshot. You can do that with background music too, so it fades in and just loops while it's in until you meet the guy, type stuff. But instead it just goes to that end, and then should play the next track here. But I think the reason why I took this button out is because it doesn't work like it should. It like breaks it. Like it'll play the next track, but then it breaks it. So that's why I took it out. Because if you don't and you just wait, then it works as it should. If you don't hit that button, which is not there, I took it out for the build. Yeah, you don't need it to loop, and because it's a longer song, you're right about that. But also it's, now that I have a track list basically to go through, like there's no point in having it loop, so it'll just go to the next one. So yeah, that's what I added to Retro Spaceball. The levels are all still basically the same. Like I said, the ball physics have changed, so it'll change how everything works a little bit. And I haven't gone in and changed too much, but I have tested it, and I've played it straight through, and everything plays great. I had to do quite a bit of tweaking at first to get the ball physics just right again, to get that feel. But because I tested so much, I already kind of knew where that feeling was, so it only took me like 3 attempts. But yeah, that's where I'm at with Retro Spaceball. But I've got this secret project that I'm calling, at this point I'm calling Cyber Source Hack, which that's the first time I've ever revealed the title. But yeah, Cyber Source Hack is a Game Boy style RPG, like action RPG. So it's a little bit like Based on what you know about it, you like the title. Cool. Yeah, the title Cybersource Hack. Like, so I'm not dead set on the title, but I wasn't dead set on retro spaceball either. So if that's a trend, we'll see how it goes. But so there's this game. I don't know if you're familiar with it. And I'm honestly, I'm not sure what they called it in France. They probably call it the same thing they did in America, which is Final Fantasy Adventure. But it's the first in the Setsun de Seku series. I totally butchered that.
That's drunk. Thanks to Super Slayer 4690 on my Patreon.
I love Snowstrunk. But yeah, so this is the game that I'm essentially emulating, and I actually took the sprites, and I found a rip of it online. You can just like Google sprite rips, and I found Final Fantasy Adventures sprite rip. Yeah, and there it is, like right here. I just type it in, and here's all this. These are the bosses, right? I didn't do anything with the bosses, but what I did still was like, oh, these are the Game Boy Advance ones. So I didn't take the ones that weren't the color. I took this one. So I took this character sheet, and what I did was I made it. I basically just like made it my own, right? Yeah. So there's this. I didn't know what I was doing yet. I just wanted to make like a character that was in that style to see if I could do it and how easy it was, and if it would be something that I could, scale up, as well as I thought I could. I was it was R&D, right? Just testing it. And I haven't actually put the motorcycle in yet. I haven't put the knife in yet. But you can walk around as this little naked dude, right? And then I made more characters, right? Like this character is not in the game yet. It's gonna be the street doctor, but because I'm following this same like basic format, it becomes like really easy to put the characters in the game. I mean, I still have to link up all the animations in Unity and stuff, but yeah, I've got. So there's still a sprite from the old Final Fantasy Adventure game in there. And there's no audio, so I'm just gonna throw on what did I have? Oh, I killed one. There we go. Let me fix the mix here. Check. Okay, that looks about right. Maybe just a little bit less. There we go. How's that sound, Techie? Is that okay? Too loud? Too quiet? Good mix. Okay, so now that I've only got 20 health, oh, it's a little low. All right. That's probably better. I'm gonna turn it down on my side, so because it's a little loud. All right. Let me know if that's terrible or if it's good. And so yeah, like I said, perfect, good, awesome. So I've got 20 health now because I let them kick my ass a bit. As you can see, I have a excuse me. I have a mini map. It's not as it's actually quite a bit different than the one that you've got there, but it's essentially the same thing. And you can actually see on the mini map the I'm like pointing at the screen. You can see the drones, which have pathfinding. So they kind of encompass this little spot here, and they fly around pretty much together. And then I think I was adjusting it to make one like stay behind a bit, and I was adjusting that, but I might have not saved those changes. I think Unity crashed because I was running too many instances of Unity, and anyways. They kind of change direction from time to time, but they do it as a group, which is, or like a flock almost. You know, it's kind of cool. You don't really know where they're gonna go next, which is kind of cool. And their bullets kind of wail on you. Now I've only got 5 health left. I must have got hit a few times there. Oh, luckily they dropped health, which is nice. That was 15 health. The game was like way too easy. Not that you can actually die, like you're still invincible, but you have life. The bad guys were dropping life like all the time, so now they don't do it nearly as often. They can hit you pretty well. Like both of those guys just hit me. Like it doesn't register very well yet. Like it doesn't tell you got hit. You don't get stunned. You don't fall back yet. It just that little number changes. But the hitbox is attached to the sword. So if the sword hits you, you got hit. You know what I mean? There's a chance that they might like swing to the side instead of to the front, which is kind of an accident, but it works pretty well actually. Oh, and as you can see, I've started messing with the colors. Oh yeah, that's your armor. I haven't come up with a good way to shorten it. It might actually fit the way that I have it now. But yeah, your arm stat. How many arms do you have? As you can see, I've got 3. Now there was a bug where this third arm was sticking out of his head. Because the sorting layer was messed up. I'm really excited to actually like turn this into something that's playable. Because it is quite a bit of fun. Even with all of its simplicity. There's a lot of like half-done things, which is kind of just the way that I develop. I tend to like start and then stop and then move to something else, and then I'll come back to it and I'll finish it, or I won't, or I'll keep moving in a circle and come back to it a year later and finish it then. Who knows, you know what I mean? I just kind of go where it takes me. So yeah, sometimes they just kind of wander off screen. Like you can see in the mini map. Okay, yeah, it looks like the mini map's broken right now. It was following the player when it left, but now it just stays in that one camera. It looks like, which is kind of bogus. And the player doesn't. Oh yeah, the player does have it. So what I've been doing with the minimap is basically recreating the layers with like simplified one color sprites, and those are what the minimap sees. And then I'm going to turn off the layer that actually has the actual sprites because it looks terrible when you zoom out. But yeah, that's the plan for the minimap. Like I said, it's half done. Oh, more life, that's a big one too. Those are even more rare. And the armor's pretty rare too. You don't lose the armor very fast though. Like you only lose it once every time you get hit. There's some type of bug where you don't get hit anymore after a while. I think something happens to the sword colliders or something like that after you kill it, and it regenerates the enemy. I'm not sure. But it looks like I'm invincible, and I shouldn't be. But yeah, there's definitely some problems with the prototype. You know, you can go behind the UI, which is not something that I want. Might just change it so the camera changes there. But I haven't decided on the camera yet because having it follow it can look really terrible. Like this, for example. It's like super trippy, and that scene looks terrible, and like things look real bad. I bet if it's compressed at all, like on Facebook, it probably looks so bad. Where it spawned the prefab collider was reset for whatever reason. Yeah, definitely. I'll just have to go look into the code. I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, you can't even die yet. You can kill these guys. They're really hard to shoot down. But if you get real close to them and bat them, it takes like twice as much health as if you just shoot them. And you can shoot through walls right now, but they can too. They're kind of hard to shoot. They've got really small colliders and the bullets are really small as well. It looked like there was a piece of experience that I couldn't see because of the cameras. Yeah, they look like they would kill you and you can die. Yeah, it's pretty accurate, considering I've only got 0 health left. I think I killed all of the bad guys, and there's nothing else to do in this prototype, unfortunately. What you can do is you can walk off screen. And if you do it for long enough, which is boring as hell, you can actually walk your way to the interior. I don't know. Which is something that I would have loved to do when I was a kid. I don't know. I kind of want to put like little glitch type stuff in. I don't know. Like secrets and stuff. I don't think I'm gonna find it. It's too far away. Yeah, I teleport the player to the different parts. It's too far of a walk to find. I found it right away one time, so I thought I could do it again, but no, it's not that. Oh, see, I was pretty far. I had walked up from right here rather than right there. So yeah. It's funny, like walking into the what do they call that? The volume. These color grading profiles. You put like a volume on the collider, and then when you walk into it, there's like a fade amount you can put. So you can actually fade colors that way. So if it's like half yellow and half blue, it would make it green, right? I'm definitely gonna try to do something with that. I don't know what, but yeah, here's where it teleports to, which is kind of useless. But yeah, this is what I've been working on. It's been a lot of fun so far. I'm still having fun with Retro Spaceball, to be honest. But I don't know, maybe a little bit more fun with this one. Is there a more new school method that I'm missing out on, Techie, that you could make me aware of, or are you just joking around? As far as I know, I thought that was the one and only way to get a player from point A to point B. Just move the position. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, like a little bit surprised that anyone at all liked my Facebook post of this video, considering how early in the morning it is. But then I was like, oh man, no one's commented, and I was like, oh wait, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. People are either just waking up or for some weird reason still up. Yeah. But my plan was to get some more work done, either working on the tile map some more, like getting rid of it basically and starting over because I don't like it. That's why I stopped on the mini map, because I was like, I don't like any of this. And I've made some new tiles, but the other thing is that I kind of want to continue making tiles. I'm kind of on like a tile making kick. So there's this one, which I haven't implemented at all yet. Like, this one is just a couple simple fixes. And then I made some building variations. Some other little, you know, greebles, or whatever you want to call them, little bits that you put in there to make it look more detailed. This one, I'm experimenting with ramps. I haven't actually put any in the game yet, so that's another thing that I kind of want to play with. And then here I've made like a crack in the road, kind of Contra-esque. I want to definitely do more stuff like that, and have like a lot of debris and stuff like that, like cars and things that don't work and broken stuff, and kind of make a maze of like, because the city's kind of a grid, I've realized, so it's not really the best level design, but luckily it's like 2D and the graphics are already so minimized that there's a lot more play than you would think. Like, yeah, making a city into a game like map is not as easy as it sounds. Like, it happens in games a lot, but it's definitely not an easy thing to do. And if you look at a lot of the games, they have like hidden walls that, you know, like see-through walls, invisible walls that you can eventually find if you're really adventurous and trying to find the level boundaries in a city. You know, because a city in reality does not have any level boundaries, right? Because it's not have boundaries. You just go to the next city or to the country or to the ocean or whatever. So ocean's a boundary. That's one natural boundary. So that you get to come up with all these different boundaries. Is what you do. And I actually came up with a really great list. I've actually got it right over here. I've been compiling this list, you know, like I still spend a ton of time in my notebook. Like, this thing is just filled of like notes, you know what I mean? It's time to buy a new one. I'm thinking about buying separate ones, or I don't know, maybe just using the different subjects for different games or something. I don't really know. I'm trying to think of ways to organize it better here. Definitely gonna get college rules next time around. This wide ruled stuff is not cool. So here I found the list. So one way is cliffs. We got ocean, density, which is like objects and stuff, which is definitely something that I'm gonna use. You had 3 notebooks to use for work and game dev stuff as well. Yeah, for sure. Oh, and your wall. Absolutely. Oh, did I miss what you're open? I was thinking of side-loading scenes, but honestly your way is really good because it's saying it's transitioning to different scenes. Yeah, you know, it's transitioning to different scenes isn't so much of a beast, like, but it can be. Like, it depends on how much you want to keep loaded as like a singleton or something like that. And like, for example, like the player, like in this would have to be like a singleton. So I decided that I'm just gonna try to keep everything in the same scene as much as possible, and just have everything on different canvases for the different UIs and stuff like that. One thing I'm being mindful of is the player getting lost behind some sprites. In your case, I guess a huge tower with the player being able to walk behind it. Yeah, no, I'm definitely thinking about that stuff, and so like this huge tower here, you're not gonna be able to walk behind it. You know, like that's gonna be something that'll be like off to the side or in the background, or like scenery even. Like maybe like for a scene, it'll be like building tops, and you'll be like just on building tops, and they'll be connected to like doors or stuff like that, but in the background there'll be all these big buildings and stuff that look really cool, but you can't get behind them. You can't get back there, like that type of thing. Also, the way I've got it set up currently, you can't walk behind the buildings. It's just this ends. And I took that from Final Fantasy Adventure. That's the way they had it there. Because as a Game Boy game, it just took way too much out of the game and the system and all that stuff to have something go behind. And the thing is that it's just bad game design to have your player to be hidden by an object. Like some of the early RPGs and stuff, they got away with it a little bit, like the JRPGs and stuff, because they didn't really have too many options. But by Super Nintendo, they had put your like transparent layers in, so you had a grid of transparency that you would walk under, and then you'd be half hidden type thing, or they would make the part of the level translucent for the time being while your player's underneath. But it all depends on the game. Some games would just rely on having the colliders pushed to most of the edge, so you're never completely obscured. Sometimes you're just partially obscured or whatever. Secret of Mana did that mostly. Like, it was really hard to completely obscure the player. I think it could be done, but it wasn't super easy to do. I think there's a few trees that you can get behind, but yeah, I mean, if you put yourself behind there, you mostly know you're there. But anyways, I'm following the old school methods for mostly reasons because it'll like keep it quick, easy. Keep the processor stuff down, like it'll keep the game running smoothly. Yeah, partly obscuring the player is my plan for the bottom walls of the dungeon. Yeah, like if you're only partly obscured, then you're definitely not going to lose the player, but it makes you feel like you're there. My plan is to just not let you be obscured by the level. Like you just won't be able to walk there, I don't think. What I think I'm gonna do is like a lot of like wires and stuff like that, and like really thin strips of pixels that will go in front of you, and then maybe off to the sides in places that you don't really go to. I'm probably gonna do some parallax stuff where it's like up high up above, you know, or something like that, like a elevated railroad system, or like some pipes and stuff like that. So yeah, another ways to block off an open world I thought up was like a bridge being out. Like obviously, like it's kind of classic as well. Used in Grand Theft Auto like time and time again. So that's kind of something, you know, you could easily fix later in the game, so you can open that part of the world up later if you wanted to, or you could just leave the bridge broken, like it's a post-apocalyptic world or something like that, or the infrastructure is terrible, so they're not going to fix the bridge or whatever. Another is radiation, which is a little bit newer of an idea. I'm sure you could probably find some old examples of it in like early like Wasteland or something like that, but as far as like newer examples goes, that's how they do it in Subnautica, to keep you away from the ship too early in the game. Like you have to get like some special radiation suit or something like that before you can go to that area. But the reason why they did that was because it's the only thing you can see on the surface of the ocean, so naturally all the players want to swim to it, but it's too early in the game to have all that stuff being unlocked for the player. They wanted you to be out in the middle of the ocean for a bit. So they let you see the thing, get close to it, have to turn away from the radiation and find something else that's useful. And then eventually you can go check it out once you get the radiation suit, but that's like hours into the game. So yeah, I'll probably do something with radiation. I haven't really thought too much about it yet. Let's see. Overwhelming numbers. That's something else that Subnautica does, kind of. When you get to the edge of the map, it's got these massive sea creatures that push you back to the level, or you die, right? They're gonna kill you if you just keep going, because they're programmed to do so. And that's something that I plan to do a lot. Probably with the drones. I'll probably have it so, yeah, you can kill drones and stuff like that, but there's probably gonna be like drone swarms that are like endless, and it's apparent that they're endless and apparent that you're not supposed to go there somehow. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do to do that. Maybe change the color of the drones or something like that, or maybe put like a warning symbol next to them, or maybe have them emit a sound and have these like sound rays coming from it or something. I don't know. I haven't really put too much thought into it, but I definitely do want to have it so like, oh, you can't go back that way for now because there's fucking drones there and they're gonna fucking kill you if you go that way. Just to kind of because as much as I like the idea of like open world feeling, I don't want an open world game where you can just go in any direction. Like, go. I mean, some of that's okay, but I want there to be like a wall there and you're actually being corralled. It's just really big corrals, right? You know, and you can do like a whole bunch of different stuff within each part of the corral, but you're still being corralled. And then, like, much the way Secret of Mana did, it's open world game, but you're being corralled through the world. Final Fantasy does it really well. And that's something I definitely plan to do here. Another one is like narrowing path, right? And again, Subnautica does this as well. Underwater, it has like these tubes that you kind of get like things get narrowed into, like a chasm or something, or a tube, but then you have to worry about the world around you. So like a chasm is great because it's just above you have to worry about it. Which is pretty easy. You just put like bad guys up there or something like that, or something to prevent you, or gravity, or there's no water. You know, it depends on the game, right? But if you wanted to do like a tube or something like that, you have to think about like what would be on the outside of the tube, what would be on the top and the bottom of the tube, that type of stuff. So like an underground tube would probably be the best way to do some type of narrowing path where everything around it doesn't have to really be accounted for. You don't have to come up with some type of creative story to tell why there's something on the outside of the tube. I've thought a little bit too much about tubes on YouTube. Obviously, another way is to have keys that open doors, right? Like Metroidvania style, or Doom, or anything like that. Definitely, I'm gonna have that, you know, and probably devices that help you open doors and stuff like that. One method that some games use is to have a boss that you have to defeat before you can actually get any further progression, and I'll probably do that. I think what I'm gonna do is have like cities that get unlocked, and then like passageways to different cities that you have to go through and stuff like that. And then basically like temples, kind of like Zelda, where you have to take care of the boss at a location and get an item type thing. Probably not as clean cut as that, like Zelda, as far as the items, like, you know, not gonna get you through the map and all that. But like the items, like there's gonna be a ton more items than there are in Zelda, right? So it's gonna be more of like a Final Fantasy thing. I haven't worked out the inventory system yet, but it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm gonna try to keep it as simple as possible, because it's gonna be an RPG inventory system, probably based off of Game Boy style with less menus. Like, I'm definitely gonna work on a better equip style. That way you can seamlessly play the game without having to but also a menu where you can pause it and look at all of your stuff, because everyone likes to look at all their stuff, and how else are you going to show it off if you can't pause the game, take a screenshot of it, right? Alright, so another way to prevent progression, or to block off the open world, is to use points or gold or items, right? Much like keys or doors, but it can be a lot more abstract, right? Like, you need $1,000 and then you can pay the toll or whatever, right? Or a puzzle, that's another way. So the whole door doesn't open until all the 3 lights light up and they're connected to this circuit that you have to connect or something, you know, right? Newcomb used to have doors where had those buttons. You had to just shoot at them until they went, right? And you got it. And that's the only way you could do it, because there's no trick. You know, some of them I think there was, but for the most part, yeah, it was just like guess, which is kind of cheap. But if you do a good puzzle, it doesn't have to be. The problem with this is that some people aren't great at puzzles, and throwing a puzzle in late game can really fuck people up. You know, if you just can't figure out the puzzle, and that's the reason why you can't beat your favorite action game, like, that's not good on the game designer's part. Yeah, I mean, a small puzzle might be fun in an action game, but you gotta make sure it's solvable by, like, anyone. And then, if you want to go in that direction, make a challenging puzzle, make it something that's not, like, a definitive part of the game. Like, you don't need to complete that to complete the game. Like, make it a side quest, a mini game or something like that. Not the final boss is a puzzle. But I mean, obviously there has to be like a trick to the final boss, right? But making it a puzzle in an action game is not a good idea. Alright. Next is simply having a wall. But you can be creative about a wall. And I thought about this. Final Fantasy VII has that plate. That's actually a wall that's turned on its side, which is super cool because it no longer works as a wall. So I'm turning down my headphones here. Is that turning down for everyone? That's all. Anyways, so yeah, a wall doesn't have to be as ordinary, but it could be if it fits. Like, I'm probably gonna have walls in my game because there's gonna be like a certain level of like segregation or something like that, you know? It's a dystopian future, so of course there's gonna be walls, because walls are generally like a oppressive thing, and there's gonna be a lot of oppression in the game. In fact, part of the struggle with this game is going to be making it feel not oppressive to play, right? Because oppression looks cool in a game aesthetic. I mean, it sounds terrible to say that, but if things are gritty and run down, it's always rainy, and only light is neon from like erotic shop or something like that. You know, it's like, it looks appealing, but it's not a place you want to live in. It's not a place that you want to be very long, right? So luckily in a game you can make it fun. Yeah, and you have to, because like, otherwise it's not where you want to spend your time. So like, yeah, that'll be important. But I'm probably not gonna put a wall in until later because I don't really like walls myself. Probably gonna try to keep it as natural as possible early game. Despite being the theme being all cyberpunk and stuff. There's still gonna be water. It could be a canal, right? That type of stuff. Or like a polluted sewer drain, so like a body of water type of nature. Let's see. Another way to block off an open world is to suspend the current existence and replace it with another entirely. So that's one plan that I have to do here is to have like a VR world, and you can actually see this off to the side, this grid pattern. Like the really early sprites that I used. I can actually find the tile set here. The earliest tile sets that I made. Here we go. These were the earliest ones that I brought into the project, and as you can see, there's just a bunch of like different patterns and stuff that I was playing with. Some of it's usable, some of it's clearly like just experimental, and I won't be able to use any of that. And then other parts I'll probably be able to use some of this, but I'll mostly just be like thinking about ways to evolve these patterns into something that's usable. The plan here was to do everything with one color, and then to make everything on the different tile layers to change colors based on that one color. And then have them like have different colors on different layers and have them change according to the script or whatever. But that actually seems like a lot of work compared to the color grading method that I'm using now. So who knows what I'll actually do with that. But yeah, so the point that I was trying to make was that some of the first worlds that I was making was actually a VR world. Let's see, there is another scene here. This first one called Sample Scene, which, as you can see, I haven't gone in and played with in a while, so who knows if it'll actually work. It's very, oh, it's got gravity on the player, so it's treating it like a 2D game. There's a lot of problems with this now, because I haven't gone in and changed it since. That's the problem with prototyping, is that like if you have like a lot of changes going on and they aren't addressed in the early prototypes, you kind of lose those prototypes unless you built them earlier. And I didn't make a build of this, so unless I go back and make it look the way that it did before, it's kind of lost. But you can kind of see what was going on a little bit. And if I go into the scene view, basically it was very much experimentation. Essentially, I had used the Final Fantasy tiles to make this over here. Okay. I was just experimenting, you know, like I made some rooms over here, and I had set up the cameras so it made the camera go to the different rooms, much like the engine that they actually made Final Fantasy Adventure in. And then yeah, I did that, and then what I do is I copied and pasted everything, and then I used like the paint bucket tool to like see how easy it was to change everything into something else. But it's the same layout. And then I hand created this stuff using different tile maps and stuff. And that's actually the character from Final Fantasy Adventure is like sitting in this like machine. I think there's an enemy hanging out in there usually. I don't know what he's doing over here, but like I said, that scene's kind of broken. Alright, go back. This is... I must have not finished. Sometimes I make things and I don't finish it, and I just leave it. Like, on the 7th, I did nothing. I just made a scene, and something else must have came up. I was not reading it. Okay, thinking personally, I would change the color and have them emit a really annoying sound. Oh, for the drones. Yeah. The problem I'm having with color in this game is that it's not trying to keep it 4 colors and then change everything using the camera lights and stuff like that. And I haven't delved into the lights yet, but that might be the way to do it. To just change part of the scene. But we'll have to see how that looks with the color grading and the camera and all that stuff. gonna make it look weird. But when I get it all together, I'm pretty confident in my ability to make things look nice. I still want to prototype with like a vertical sprite design with a orthographic tilted camera, like they did for Economy. I think I had shown you the link. So yeah, I really want us to. I really want to use the same asset that they did. I really want to use the normal maps method that they did for that stuff. The asset isn't that expensive. I think it's like $20 or something like that. And the normal mapping stuff, I actually already have software to do that. And I'm familiar with normal maps. There is a really great GIF. This one. This GIF here, number 9 here. It shows how that game is set up. So it's got this flat plane for the player to walk around on, and then it's got the characters actually standing vertical, even though it's 2D, and it's just facing its direction, and the camera's coming down from that angle, but it's an orthographic camera. So it's pressing it to look like that, even though it's actually not going to ever get stuck. Like, so the lighting is gonna look right with the shadows. The verticality is gonna look fine. As far as creating the colliders, so you can walk behind stuff. I mean, that's gonna be, you know, a little bit finicky because you'd have to go in for each object and like create it. But for example, this is it's a 3D object made out of 2D planes, this spinning sign thing. So that you don't even have to worry about. You either walk around it or you walk into it, right? This one is similar, but it's a 2D object, flat plane that's represented in 3D space. So you just give it some 3D collider space, and then you can't walk behind it, or you can't walk through it. You can walk behind it a little bit, like maybe up here, so you can walk behind the sign part. But yeah, of course, doing this on a large scale for like an RPG might hold some difficulty. Might not. I haven't played with it yet, so we'll have to see. I have a good feeling about it. I think it'll work well. This tutorial is just amazing. I really love what they did here. Shows how they even use fabrics on simple stuff. Really inspiring. Yeah, they got all their assets here. Even the sprite illuminator, the package for Cinemachine, which is what I'm using. Yeah. I have not played with the timeline yet in Unity. I really want to play with that some. But I haven't had too many uses for it yet. I'm excited for all of the cool stuff Unity's doing though. Alright, so I'm gonna go back to my, what is it, test 1? Yeah. This looks so trippy. It's like Unity trying to show me this little thing zoomed out. It like ends up showing me like a really big version. This is so weird. Makes a whole lot of sense. Alright, so I'm gonna make some sprites then. It's almost 6. My alarm's gonna go off. Luckily, I've already showered. I do need to make my lunch. And I gotta hit the road by like 7. So I was working on signs. Got a list up in front. I need more factory stuff. Yeah, I did a lot of that here. I don't know. Warehouse stuff. This warehouse stuff. Not feeling too inspired. I'm missing what you wrote again here. Let's see. Trust me, I know changes to pretty much any script or prefab breaks most of my scenes. Oh yeah, definitely. Some pretty cool ideas going on here. Thanks, I appreciate that. Oh, I see the sprites are rendered in 3D space, but the camera is orthographic. I can't. Yeah. So I really do want to try that method. I've wanted to prototype this too, but yeah, it might be pretty difficult at least to get a good workflow. Yeah, I mean, I feel like once you get the camera like situated, I don't think it'll be that bad. Like, because once you have it at that right angle, like, and you don't play with the angle, you just like copy and paste virtual cameras at that angle, everything should be good. I don't know. I feel like if you played with the angle late in development, maybe I'm wrong. I haven't really played with it. You know, when I first started, honestly, when I first started with Unity and like Unity like 3, I played around with orthographic cameras in 3D perspectives, and it was a trip. You know, I remember it being like super trippy, and I had this one prototype that I played with a lot, but I never finished it or made a new game or anything like that. But you know, I showed people, and they were like, "Whoa!" Because it was animated, and there was a lot of things going on, but it was all being like flattened, you know. And then the camera followed the player too, so when the player jumped, it like really messed with everything. You know? It was a lot of fun, but nothing done ever came. Maybe I should just keep working on this level. Like, I've got these new sprites I haven't put in there. So I didn't ask you, Techie, what are you up to? What are you doing this time of day? You're probably just hanging out at home because of the quarantine. Sorry, late reply. No, that's fine, man. No worries. Switched laptops and forgot to sign in. It's 2 p.m. right now, so mainly housework and such, but taking a break to try work on some lighting in the game. Cool. Hell yeah, man. Yep, it's what? It's nearly 6 a.m. here. But yeah. I was doing some housework earlier. So probably do some more after work. I really wish I was using this tile palette stuff for Retro Spaceball. I mean, I guess it's not too late to switch it over, but like, I feel like if I made a level using a thing, yeah, I'd have to spend some time making one level and then just duplicate that one instead of like duplicating the ones that I've been duplicating. I probably should do that because having it be like pixel perfect, I think, is gonna make it. I think getting the grid to line up with the old one is gonna be the hard part. Okay, so I've got my new sprites in. I want to draw. I made like some sidewalk. Where is this? Not even in this one. You can change colors of the tile sheet without redoing the scenes as long as you don't change the positions of sprites in the sprite sheet. You should just update, no problem. Yeah, totally. Changing the colors. You can actually change quite a bit about the sprite. Oh, there goes my alarm. Alright, what am I doing? I need to get that other sprite sheet in. I fixed the... Was it the random one? It must have been the random one. Yeah, here's the sidewalk fix. So I'm just gonna upload this one as it is, even though there's all this blank space. Like, probably not the best practice to do that, but Unity's pretty legit, and these are only 512 pixels. Export it. It's in that folder. Here we go. We'll make a new folder for it. Sorry, I was just retweeting. Okay, so I've got this other thing in here now. I do kind of want to play with a ramp. I feel like that could be fun. I'm really interested in these little shortcuts. See how that works. Probably won't work very well stacked together, but it might work well for like one particular ramp. But I don't know. I feel like I might have to do some programming to make it know that you're second level at some point, but I don't know. Probably doesn't matter. Okay, and now we're going through the soundtrack. I found these are great. I'm a big fan of the band Tool, and I found these 8-bit remixes on YouTube. There's like a whole bunch of them, 18 of them I found. 18 different songs. With varying quality. Some of them are a little bit different than just different composers. Oh, you love Tool too? Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm a huge Tool fan. I actually just saw him. What was that? Like February or January? I can't remember. That first tour back, definitely went and caught that. That was cool. Oh wait, this would go on the... I wish there was a way to like just know like what tile map you're on, right? Like if you just like clicked this, it would tell you what tile, like it would just blink what tile map you were on. So this should be creating a tile, or a collider. It's shorter than I thought it would be. There we go, perfect. Alright, so now if I play the game, I should be able to like not go through there. Yeah, sweet. Your old housemate got you hooked. He would play the pot when he woke up, so I would always get woken up to that song. That's great. I used to wake up to that song too. I used to just play it all the time, honestly. Like, I had iTunes at the time, and like, you could figure out how many. Like, the one cool thing about iTunes is that it keeps track of what you've played. So, you know, if you played a track every single day, after a while, it's got thousands of plays, right? Compared to other ones which have like 3 or 4, you know. Like, that's the way the pot was for me. But yeah, I actually got I mean, when I first started during Undertow, when I heard Sober, obviously, but even when Enema came out, I wasn't like hooked yet. I hadn't heard enough, you know. I heard Stinkfist, and I didn't quite understand it, and I was just too young. But around 8th grade, like around 7th grade, I started like listening to it and being like, yeah, this is actually really pretty good. You know, because before then, before 8th grade, Tool had always been kind of like the same as like Live to me, which is so different, you know. Like I still listen to Live, but it's such a different band. But at the time, they were kind of the same category. I mean, Pearl Jam was kind of in there too. You know, like all of these bands were kind of the same to me because I was so young. I remember my cousin, he had an NES and The Legend of Zelda, and we were playing it, and you know, we weren't playing it, he was watching MTV, and there it was, Stinkfist, you know, and Live, and Pearl Jam, and all the bands that I just kind of lumped in together at the time. But yeah, what was it? It's 8th grade, so that was, what was the name of that? Lateralis, and I actually went and saw him freshman year. Yeah, after that I was hooked. They didn't play again until 2005, and then I went to that show, and that was super expensive. It was like $200, and I was sitting in the very back, against the wall. But yeah, it was really cool. Then I saw him at Bonnaroo. 2007. I saw him around that same time, like that same year, at like an arena. Then I saw him at a festival in Chicago. Then I saw him here in Phoenix. I feel like there's another one that I'm missing though. I swear it's been like 5 or 6 times I've seen him. 2,000, holy crap, who else was supporting? Or 200, did you say? Oh, $200. Yeah, no, yeah, my dad helped me pay for the ticket for sure. I recently went to see While She Sleeps. It was amazing. Even in the sporting band. But this is good. Oh, you mean the sporting bands? There was no sporting band for that show. It was like their small venue tour. It was like an orchestra pit in Chicago called Auditorium Theater, and it was a beautiful auditorium. It was all wood, and it was like an orchestra pit, and yeah. Oh yeah, it was definitely expensive. Like, cause the thing was is that it sold out in like less than 5 seconds. Like nationwide, the entire tour sold out in less than 5 seconds. So everyone who went there was pretty much getting them for scalpers. we talked to someone who was in the front-ish row, and they paid like over $1,000 for their ticket. So, but they hadn't played in 11 years, so everyone was willing to pay these outrageous prices. So the scalpers just kept raising the prices. And yeah, so $200 for way in the back. That's what I paid. But it was a once in a lifetime experience. It was way cool. I don't know. I probably would have done it again if I could go back because it was just so much fun. Yeah, I remember me and my buddy smoking a joint at the beginning to the pot, right? And you know, it was indoor and in Chicago at the time. You couldn't do any smoking like even near the buildings, you know. So it was like, but no one was expecting us to light up a joint either. So it took them a while to realize, and then eventually I had noticed they had like flashlights and stuff, and I was like, alright dude, we gotta put this shit out because they're gonna get busted. And he's like, no man, I'm gonna keep it going. I was like, alright, well I'm done. And they took my buddy, they pulled him off to the side, said, you can't smoke here, chief. Let him back in. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I'd say it was worth it. And honestly, the ticket for Bonnaroo was $200 as well. But that was like a 4-day festival, so not legal here in the UK. That doesn't stop us, you know. It's definitely not legal, or it wasn't legal in Chicago. It's medical legal in Chicago, or no, now commercial legal in Chicago. Like they can just sell it. In Arizona, where I live now, medical is legal and it's pretty much decriminalized. But you don't want to get caught with it if you have a medical card. You don't want to get caught driving with it if you just you want to be a good Samaritan about this shit still. But yeah, everyone's pretty much laid back about it, which is really cool. Oh, music's a little loud now. Yeah, it's the music tracks. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's probably a little bit better. Yeah. No, it was worth it. The Bonnaroo show was way cool too. Who was it? Tom Morello played with Tool. Yeah, I'm like not thinking clearly. Yeah, Tom Morello was there for his band, The Night Watchman, and so he played Lateralis, the song. Did like a fucking 10-minute guitar solo in the middle of the song. It was great. So that alone was almost worth the $200 for the Bonnaroo ticket. Oh man, it's backward. Oh, here we go. Man, it doesn't line up. Oh, that sucks. This is very much an experiment. I have no idea how this is actually gonna work. I have a feeling that not gonna work great. Man, this one's supposed to line up. Sounds awesome. Think the best experience I've had was one of the supporting bands for While She Sleeps was Landmarks. Dude, were just as good, if not better, than the main band. People were leaving after they played because they only showed up to see them. So much hype. Right on. I've never heard of either of those groups. I don't listen to nearly as much metal as I used to, or like heavier music. Honestly, I listen to a lot of electronica, but also just like a lot of weird music, stuff that people don't normally listen to. Why isn't this lining up? It's supposed to. Here we go. Yeah, it still doesn't line up. That bothers the hell out of me. Oh, there it goes again. $6.20. Well, probably gonna have to end the stream here soon. I'm gonna walk up to my my little ramps here real quick. Wow, that looks terrible. So it actually isn't too terrible. This one here, I mean, it looks terrible. But as far as like gameplay goes, like it feels like you're going up and down stairs. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you were on the stairs, then it would just like automatically push you upwards, so you don't have to hold the direction. But I feel like you have more control. Like if you were fighting on like a bigger incline. I don't know. I might have to play with that. But going underneath is going to be a big pain to figure that out. So I'm probably just going to avoid that. I have like a fence there or something. Yeah. I don't know. Kind of a failure. It might look terrible because the sides aren't there. Yeah. What I mean is this, the stairs aren't lining up with, like the tile map, the floor isn't lining up with the collider. It's supposed to, and for some reason it doesn't. I don't know. And then that one disappeared completely. But yeah. I don't know. I'll have to play with the controls, because like I said, playing with it, like, it feels like it should just kind of push you upwards. Like you should just be able to hold straight, and then it should just kind of propel you. But I feel like I need to code each individual stairway with like knowledge of if you're going up or down, what direction you're facing, blah blah blah. Hell, you guys, leave me alone. Leave me alone. but also I kind of want to get jumping involved in the game, and then like something like this, you could like jump over maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure how useful that will be in the game though. It might actually just detract from the game to be able to jump. Then you get all these platformer elements and all that crap. Alright. But thanks for joining the stream, Techie. I do appreciate that. And after work, I will definitely hit you up to see if you want to play some Retro Spaceball over Parsec. I do think I'm going to end the stream here since it's 6:23. I need to make a lunch for myself, and I'll probably just relax a bit before I have to go into work. So, like I said, thanks again for watching. And I will definitely get a hold of you. Alright, well take care, dude.